Okay, this is question 2, and the first thing you do is find the total resistance of the circuit. So, we're gonna take the 7 and the 10 that are in pure parallel, and we're gonna figure out what these are equal to. So we're gonna use the easiest formula for R-tote for parallel is 1 over 7 plus 1 over 10 to the minus 1. I'm just going to do everything all at once. And what you get is 4.12 ohms. So again, find the smallest resistor, that's 7. And if we had a 7 and a 7 together, it'd be twice as good, and that'd be 3.5 ohms. And you can see this is a little bit more than 3.5 ohms because we don't have a 7 and a 7, we have a 7 and a 10. If we had a 10 and a 10 together, that would be twice as good and it'd turn into a 5 ohm resistor, and this is less than 5, right? So that makes sense. It's got to be somewhere in between those two. So we have a 4 ohm and a 4.12 ohm, which is really representing two resistors in parallel, and a 3 ohm and a 12-volt battery. And then this is easy. You're just going to add 4 plus 4.12, 8.12 plus another 3 is 11.12 ohms is your total resistance. Sorry, my handwriting is not looking great. Okay, so the answer to total resistance is 11.12 ohms. And then B, calculate the current in every resistor. So let's change colors for that. And then what we're going to do there is, first thing you have to do is figure out, well, how much current is, leaving the battery. So I tote is going to be V over R tote. So 12 volts over 11.12 ohms is just a little bit over 1 amp. It's, because those two numbers are so close to each other. So you have 1.08 amps coming around, boom. It goes through the 4. The 4 is a real resistor or light bulb. So we know it's 1.08 amps going through here. And then it's going to split. Some more is going to go through the 7 than the 10, but they're kind of close together, so not a ton more. And then it's going to recombine and become 1.08 coulombs per second again. So we really only need to deal with the 7 and the 10. So again, we're going to use our inverse percentages trick. This only works if you take more physics in college or whenever. This only works when you have two resistors in parallel. So the current through the 7 ohm is going to be the resistance you don't care about, which is 10 ohms, over the total times the current. So we have 10/17 of the total current, which is 0.6353 amps, right? So if it was equal resistances, this would be half an amp, not 0.54, right? But they're not equal. So then let's just see what the I10 is. Again, it's the other resistor you don't care about over the total resistance as a percent of the total current. So that is 7/17 times 1.08 amps, which is 0.445 amps. So this one's a little bit over half, this one's a little bit under a half. And then you can check your work. 0.6353 plus 0.445. Let me just be honest and actually do it, not just say it's equal to the total current. 1.08. Check. Okay, so that I did it all in one spot, but those are all the questions for circuit number 2.